Hi again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Genevieve B. Portarkis, and today I will be explaining or going to tackle about celestial sphere and the constellations that can be found in the Philippines. So first, let's tackle about the celestial sphere. So the celestial sphere is an abstract sphere that has an arbitrary large radius and is concentric to the Earth. All objects in the sky that can be conceived as being projected upon the inner surface of the celestial sphere, which may be centered on the Earth or the observer. If centered on the observer, half of the sphere could resemble as hemisphere screen over the observer location. So the celestial sphere is a practical tool for spherical astronomy, allowing astronomers to specify the apparent positions of objects in the sky if their distances are unknown or relevant. In the equatorial coordinate system, the celestial equator divides the celestial sphere into two halves. First, the northern, second is the southern celestial hemispheres. So there are four celestial spheres. This includes the Earth equator, axis, and orbit, and their intersections with the celestial sphere. These form the celestial equator, the north and south, the celestial poles, and the ecliptic, respectively. So, the second that we will going to tackle is the constellation that happens in the Philippines. So, the constellation serve as the map during the early years that is tells about countless stories about heroes and monsters here in the Philippines. So, through the years of humankind and cultures, like in other countries, our Filipino ancestors did worship stars before as their gods. They have their own versions of names, like prayers, and stories. Stories depend on what region from. So the constellation and their movements, and as the season and time change, our ancestors somehow practiced following the stars' movement as a sign of good harvest, fishing, hunting, and other activities in the tribe. So it's either a good or bad omen when something is changing in the sky, in the night sky. So we have first the Tres Marias or the Three Marias in Tagalog or Magbangal in Bukidnon. Seteral, Seretal, and Seretal in Tiruday, Balatic is composed of perfectly aligned and evenly spaced stars which act as built of the constellation of Orion. In Palawan and Ibaloy, however, Balatic is seen as both the sword and build of Orion. So start of planting and setting of traps to protect the crops from animals. The second is we have suot ni Judas or mapolon in Tagalog. So we have San Apon in Ibaloy and Kufo in Tiruday. In Western, it is known as a star cluster Pleiades, the Seven Sisters, located in the constellation of Taurus. The Tagalogs consulted the star cluster to know the shifting of time and season, the start of planting season. The third one is we have Lipo by the Matigsalug, Manubo, or Bukidnon. In the Western equivalent, it is known as the constellation of Aquila. It signifies the time to clean or clear the fields while waiting for the harvest time. Tagalog had also a constellation called Batugan or lazy, named for its characteristic of slow motion, large size, and low brightness, and usually known as a guiding star for the shepherdess. In Bicol, there are stars such as Pugot, used as sign for fishing and incoming storms. Soog is a four-star that resembles four-sided figure, which signals the beginning of nighttime, and Torog, three stars that show an approaching storm. So last one we have Sipat and Tudong are mentioned in a ritual known as Kentan, conducted by ethnic groups in the Cordillera to bless rice seedlings. Binasbais, other star named by the people on Cordillera, is heard in prayers chanting during the ritual sacrifice of chicken.